Yo, yo, yo. Coming to you live from Philadelphia, from humid, summer like Philadelphia, PA, on a special broadcast of the Crossover Sports Podcast, episode 85, hailing from Title Town, USA. Right now, I'm rocking out with
Boo!
Stop hating. So right now, I'm rocking out with Amina, who's a little disappointed because of her Warriors last night, but she came through anyway. Go ahead and reintroduce yourself, Amina.
Well, you already did that, so we're just going to say it briefly. Hi, my name's Amina, and I'm a regular, full timer on here. Um, it's playoff season in NBA. Conference finals, they're going to be over by Tuesday, God willing, and this could be more intense ending than the regular finals. But we'll see. Excited watching these games. Let's talk about these questions and get these answers we have.
Yes, yes, y'all already know. Crossover Sports Podcast with the topics are hot and the hot takes are even hotter. We'd like to thank y'all for tuning in on Friday night, starting your holiday weekend. I know. Again, the schedule's getting kind of tricky, but we'll be back to Saturday next week. Nothing's really changing. It's just that it's a holiday. It's holiday time. We're gonna switch it up a little bit with that, with it being a holiday and everything. So, but as always, we start the show off with our crossover hot takes. Now, those of you that don't know, this is your first time watching the show. Crossover hot takes are where we dip in, lean into some topics that does not necessarily have to be about sports. Most likely sports related. And this will get into our culture, our political, our entertainment, our different things depending on what's going on in the week. But for this week, it's all sports related, and a lot of it is intertwined between sports and culture. So, so the first one is the reaction to the thing that set this week off from Wednesday on. Reaction to the NFL's new national anthem policy. I'll start. I'll let Amina simmer for a little bit because she know I'm about to go in on them. So sorry, y'all. I'm diving into my Philly and in on them. In on them. So
You know, I think people don't know what they mean.
so so yeah. So all right. So Amina was the first one to message me on Wednesday afternoon all about this new national anthem policy. And the only thing I knew was she said, "Oh, it's Colin Kaepernick's last time with this policy." But I didn't know what it is because I work at a school and I go social media dark when I work on in the school until I leave the school. When I finally leave the school and I see what's going on, I'm looking on Facebook, I'm looking on Twitter, I'm looking at everything, and I see it. I see it. Yeah, I'm a little angry about this one. I see it. I see that it says NFL makes players stand for national anthem if they come out on the field. Now it's kind of a catch-22 because the NFL is saying like they're giving everybody the option, but not really to stay inside the locker room or come out, and they must stand for the national anthem. Now, first and foremost, let me just get this out the way. This is the most regressive, anti-First Amendment, anti-freedom of speech, anti-power of the black athlete policies you can have in sports. You know that this right here is worse than what the NBA did to Abdul Raif. This is not the first time you're going to hear his name come up in this podcast, especially probably throughout the rest of this podcast. He's going to be referenced a lot. He's a guy that in basketball, in the NBA, he decided to make a stand for the national anthem and he's the reason why the NBA now has the policy that everybody must stand for the national anthem. Right? That was like 20 or 30 years ago. Amina and I were both little kids. But yeah, Abdul Raif decided that he wanted to kneel or do some type of protest during the anthem. Like I said, it was a long time ago. We were still kids. I'm still not up on what exactly he did, but I know he didn't stand for the anthem. So, uh, so, so, we're ready to go on this one. So, it's the most regressive policy ever. It's the most anti-black athlete. And listen, way to bow down to 45 NFL owners because, I mean, nothing says we don't care about you then. You know what? That guy who called you SOBs, that guy that draft dodged, that guy that did everything that most of us stand against, we're with him more than you. I just can't, NFL. I really can't. This is, like I said, the most regressive policy I have ever seen. If you really want to hear my thoughts on it, because I'm going to go angry, but you really want to hear some more coherent talks. I'm not drunk. I'm not drunk. I'm sober. But if you want to hear more coherent thoughts, check out my article on WatsonSports6.com where I talk about this in more detail. But yes, this is a regressive policy. This is so mind-altering, and it really is just proving Colin Kaepernick's case. It really is that he was colluded against, that the president, the vice president, everybody colluded against them. And with this type of policy, it's like the NFL is saying, sue me, sue me, sue me. We know you're not going to do anything. We're going to pay to make you go away. It's like I was telling my friend yesterday who's in the military, right? You can tell that the NFL was made at a military school. I mean, not the NFL, that football was created in a military school because it continues to show its roots. Regressive policies, behind the times way of thinking, basically the shut up and run down the field, shut up and hit each other. It's funny that the NFL cares more about kneeling players than they do about football players hitting their wives or girlfriends. Yeah, I'm going there. Hitting their wives or girlfriends, murdering people on the field, stealing cologne from department stores. Heck, freaking concussions on the field. How you care about kneeling more than you care about CTE? Come on now, NFL. Y'all just got y'all hands in all the wrong baskets. This is a horrible policy, and I really hope the players' union, even though it's the weakest players' union in sports, it takes this all the way to the Supreme Court, so the Supreme Court can tell 45 and these NFL owners that this is unconstitutional, as we all know it is. It's unconstitutional, but this is America where we silenced dissent and we forgot where we came from. Go ahead, Amina.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Alrighty. Alrighty. So this is the big moment for this question. All right. Okay, this week, Wednesday, I believe, it was bright and early, first thing in the morning. Roger Goodell sent, for non-NFL fans who don't know who Roger Goodell is, he is the current commissioner of the NFL, which means he's the big boss of the 32 teams of the NFL. But going back to what I was saying, Roger Goodell, early Wednesday morning,
Man,
first day.
Freak all that. I'm sorry to cut you off. Freak all that. He's not the commissioner. He's the dictator of the NFL.
That too. I'm talking about just technical terms of what his profession is. But anyway, he sent down this statement letter to the owners and coaches of these 32 teams and basically gave them plantation orders and said that either your players do this or do that or get fined. Colin Kaepernick started the reason why this memo letter, whatever you want to call it, was sent down on Wednesday morning. And the season before last, the 2016 season, 2 years ago, to kneel in protest of police brutality, mob attacks, and injustices against people of color, particularly black men. The NFL, these last 2 years, going on three, has refused to acknowledge, recognize, or even admit the situations that are the background for why he started his movement. They refuse to even mention it. Like, they mull over it and act as though the situations don't exist when they in fact do. And we see that every day on social media, the news, the streets, wherever. The kneeling was started as the means of protesting for police brutality and the like. The NFL has not shown its support towards the plagues that the ills that plagued the black community and people of color around the country as well as around the globe. They have not and continue to fail to address matters associated with such individuals. The NFL basically told every black player that you are the six letter N word ending with the ER with the hard R. You are that. We don't want to hear what you have to say out your mouth. We want you to remain silent. What you have to say doesn't matter. And you are not important. We just want you to run this ball up and down this field every season. And we just want you to keep your mouth shut. We want the NFL to go back to the way it once was, where nobody had any concerns or worries. Not going to happen. Sorry, this is 2018, not 50 years ago. People are progressing. The NFL is putting themselves in a position now where, in my opinion, they're going to be replaced in the American sports hierarchy. Up until now, the NFL was at the top of the food chain in sports as far as in America is concerned. Going forward, the NBA will replace the NFL going forward. I don't know what year it'll be when it really gets the ball going, but it's coming. The NFL, they refuse to progress. They refuse to progress. They refuse to support things that they need to support. And it's very interesting because the NFL, they've shown time and time again, we support people that do sexual assaults. We support people that do domestic violence. We support people that aren't taking care of their children. We support everything wrong. But when it comes to one thing that's right, oh, that's a situation. We can't be bothered. No, they don't want these black players and some of the white ones that have joined the movement to be doing the form of protesting or kneeling in front of fans, mainly the white ones. They find it, oh, we bought season tickets, we got season passes. It's not supposed to be people protesting in front of us. Why are they doing that? My thing is, when I watch NFL games, I see people with their hats on when the anthem is being said. I see concessions being sold in the stands. So, isn't that considered to be disrespectful too? Or is it just the fact that this movement is associated with situations that's going on in the black community plaguing us? It's very interesting. And the fact that these general managers or coaches are coming out of the woodworks now, 2 years post start of said movement, to admit that Colin Kaepernick should be not a bench starter back, a bench quarterback, but a starter quarterback, which means that he should be on an active roster and he should be leading a team as the quarterback does for every team. That man is only 30 years old. He has no injuries. He has no CTE. He has no situations going on in his personal life. That man is physically fit and young. Like, he has nothing wrong with him. That man is in the prime years of his career. He should be on the roster. But no, he's being denied the ability to partake in his beloved football career, which is very disappointing. It doesn't make sense. But outside of that, the NFL has made their voice heard on how they feel about his movement, and myself and other NFL fans that are black, we have made our move too. We have opted to, from here on out, forego tuning into NFL games. And I refuse to watch NFL games until the NFL addresses and takes care of the situations that they refuse to acknowledge or recognize, because it doesn't make sense to me. Like, why would I sit up there and give ratings for that? It's no, you want me to watch games, but myself as a black youth in the inner city as well as in America, if I was to be beaten, shot, stabbed, choked to death, stomped on by police officers, my life wouldn't matter. But you want my ratings for these games every season? No, that's not going to work. You're going to address what I have going on with me, and then maybe two hands can wash each other. But until then, no. Mm-mm. This is not happening. This is, as Kylan said in his statement, this is a violation of human rights. This is this is a violation of freedom of speech. This is a violation of people's dignity and integrity. This is a violation of morals and principles. This goes against everything this country supposedly so-called stands for. And I say supposedly so-called stands for because this country has never lived up to its so-called word. They got these fancy documents out here: Declaration of Independence, Constitution, Bill of Rights, whatever you want to call it. But none of that stuff really goes on. It's just a bunch of words. So, until the NFL wants to get their act together and do what they're supposed to do, I'm not watching the dang game. And it's really very unfortunate because I was very pumped and very excited to watch my team, the Raiders, with this great season that we have coming. But I can't even do that. So I got to keep up with my team via ESPN, Twitter, and my team's Facebook page. The NFL, y'all have come in between people's Sunday afternoons and Monday nights. Y'all have really done it. Like it's already nothing to watch on TV those 2 days for sports fans during the fall and winter. So y'all just really did it. Like wow. And Colin Kaepernick, he's going to win his lawsuit he has against the NFL too, because the evidence and proof is there. Can't hide it anymore. They're telling on themselves. They literally came out this week and said that he should be a starter quarterback, but none of them wanted to sign him to a team. Y'all just snitched on yourselves. Clap, clap. Congratulations. He's going to get that multi-million-dollar lawsuit along with the money that y'all still got to pay him every year from when he was on the San Francisco 49ers. So technically, Colin Kaepernick, even though he's not on the active roster, being suited and booted for the fall coming, he's the one that won this. You are the ones that lost because y'all will have to pay him. Colin Kaepernick, I've said it time and time again on this podcast, episodes several. I don't even know how many at this point. But it's time to break your silence. 2 years later, it's time to break your silence. Go on 60 Minutes, go on C-SPAN, go on any major network except for Fox News, and I need you to do public statement. I need you to announce your retirement. I need you to announce your post-retirement career goals and plans so we know what's still. I need to know what you have planned moving forward about your movement, any updates, anything. We got to know now. Can't remain silent with this forever. You started this. We love you. We thank you for it. But it's your movement, so you have to be vocal about it. So I'm still supporting the movement, always and forever. But this is just he's just like I said in my most recent Facebook post about this matter. He is the modern martyr of the sports world. We had Jesse Owens. We had in the 1936 Olympics in Berlin, Germany. Um, a few years later, 68, we had um, John Carlos and Tommy Smith in the Mexico City Olympics. The year prior, we had Muhammad Ali with the Vietnam War. Um, then you had other people who have broken barriers. Talk about Satchel Paige and Jackie Robinson and all these Hank Aaron's and people. So he stands on their shoulders as far as martyrhood. He stands on their foundation. And the future, when Colin Kaepernick is no longer here physically on this earth, they're going to be talking about him in the history books like we do with Jesse Owens and now Muhammad Ali. They're gonna be talking about him. He's gonna be in sports encyclopedias. He's gonna be in sports conversations for generations to come. People are gonna know his name. His name's already around the globe. All he just needs to do is just break his silence so we know what's up going on with him going forward. I support you, brother. I love you, brother. You always got my love. And the NFL, I'm bowing out, keeping up with my team online, but I can't subconsciously watch games anymore because it'll go against my who I am as a person or what I personally believe in. Y'all really screwed up big time NFL. Y'all getting replaced by the NBA. That's actually progressive. Dang shame, y'all. Y'all not willing to even come to the table with the man. But it's okay. Rest in peace, NFL. Next question.
All right, moving right along. All right. So the next one. Has the NFL effectively weakened the power of the black athlete with their new policy? I'll start. Yes, they have. I know this is controversial. I know I've talked to some people, black, white, and otherwise, in my circle that read my article. Like I said, watch the sports6.com. Read the article. The NFL takes 2 steps back with new policy. Article. Uh, you know. Uh, so and they're saying that he's a martyr. They feel the power of the black athlete is more powerful than ever because in punishment, the American people will come together. And my argument against them and to why this policy is effectively weakens um, the power of the black athletes because, like I alluded to earlier, we're in a different America. We're in an America that silences the sick, an America that doesn't really care about what makes this country great or has made this country great. Right? An America that doesn't understand that sports and politics are as American as apple pie. An America that doesn't really care that before Colin Kaepernick there was Jackie Robinson, there was Muhammad Ali, there was Bill Russell, there was Jim Brown. Even though, like I said, we don't really talk about Jim Brown because of his stupidity for 45. We don't really talk about him, but we have Jim Brown. You have so many people, as Amina alluded to, that were at the precipice of this, and to see all that is is and to see all that and to have all that, to have people like that play football like a Jim Brown, and for the NFL to still come out with this policy and effectively say we don't care about the history, we don't care about what happened before this. The only thing we want to do is silence our black athletes. We got rid of Colin Kaepernick. That was the first strike. Now we're going to get rid of their way of expressing their biggest form of protest, which is protesting the national anthem. Which, by the way, those of you that have been living under a rock, the NFL players will stay in the locker room for the playing of the national anthem until the Department of Defense inserted a lot of cash for the fake patriotism. Yeah, I said it at Colin W. Watson, for the fake patriotism that you see broadcast at football games all the time. The Department of Defense pays for that to be televised. So you're seeing fake patriotism every Sunday night. Yeah, I said it at Colin W. Watson. Fake patriotism, that fake patriotism, that faux patriotism, whatever you want to call it. That fraud that you see every Sunday night. I am. I listen. A lot of times I agree with these people. Yeah, Colin Kaepernick's a martyr, but right now this policy is bigger than that. This policy is, like I said, steeped in that thing of dissent being silenced in America. That culture of, if I don't like it, it's fake news, or if I don't like it, it's un-American. Well, this is, as American, like I said, it's apple pie on the 4th of July. It's real. And yeah, they effectively silenced the black athlete, because what they did was they silenced one of the most powerful black football players we have, in Colin Kaepernick. Got rid of him. Don't care that they're confirming everything that he's complaining about in his case. Silenced him. Now they silenced everybody else. Got rid of Eric Reid, said it, and basically have stopped Eric Reid from getting jobs too. Don't really care. They're still probably going to just write a check, and both of them are going to take the check and be quiet. So the power of the black athlete is significantly weakened just because of this policy. Because let me tell you something. If the players' union allows the NFL to do this, there's something worse is coming down the pike in the other league. So this is just a step. All right, 45 and his ilk don't like dealing football players. All right, let's stop the dealing. And he's still saying that basically that kneeling football players shouldn't play. Not only should they not play. This is actual quotes here. Google them. Not only should they not play football on the field, they should lose their jobs. They also even be in the country. We're here already. We're way past this now. The black athlete is more important than ever, and the NFL just silenced them and weakened their voice. And it's sickening that they did that, bowing down to this man. Like I said, bowing down to this man, bowing down to his ilk, because you don't like the fact that they dealing, because they make you, your billionaire snowflake behind uncomfortable. Get the heck out of here. Go ahead, Amina.
Kylie's going in as he said he would all week. In reference to this question, I don't think that the NFL has effectively silenced the means of black athletes exercising their right to peaceably assemble and protest. What I think they're trying to do is just try to censor, not so much weakened it, but I believe it's more of a situation where they want to censor it. The NFL has shown they don't have no issue or no problem with the black athletes having protests. They just don't want it done on NFL fields. They want it done behind closed doors in locker rooms on their own time, um, far away from the stadiums. So they're basically saying you could protest, you could do it all you want, just don't do it while you're in one of our uniforms on our fields. It's like saying to Massa, Master, that's not fair. I don't like that. The master tell you, well, you on my plantation, so what you think? So now they're just trying to censor. They're trying to push it away. They're trying to make it so white fans of the NFL are made comfortable because white people they pay high money for these season tickets, and a lot of them are pissed off that this was allowed to go on for not one season but two seasons in a row. They're, and a lot of them ended up selling or not even buying season tickets or regular tickets. So it's all about money and revenue. So now they haven't weakened it. The black athletes they'll find other means to protest outside of their NFL careers, but nah, it's not so much of a weakening. I think it's a censorship. They just don't want it being done anywhere near anything that has to do with the NFL. You could do it in your own house, at your own home, apartment, or wherever, but they don't want it done on the field or anywhere or with the players in their uniforms. It was more of a censorship.
So moving right along. All right, I mean, your other favorite topic. Will this be LeBron's last season in a Cleveland jersey? In a
Oh,
Cleveland
that's
jersey.
that's a nice question right there. I like that one. Alrighty, let's talk about LeBron James. Well, to go back into history a little bit on him. He's playing the Boston Celtics for the Eastern Conference Finals, something he hasn't done since 2010. The last time this happened with him losing to the Boston Celtics was 2010, like I said. And he ended up leaving the, the Cleveland Cavaliers where he was for 7 seasons to go to the Miami Heat with his bestie D Wade for 4 seasons. And he came back to the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2014 under the promise that he would bring a title to the first ever title to the city of Cleveland, which he's done. That's the only reason why he went to Cleveland. The only reason why he went back to Cleveland. I mean, if they had already had a ring before that, I don't think he would have went back to Cleveland. But that's the only reason why he went back is to get them a ring, and he did that 2 years ago. So he has no legit reason to stay in Cleveland at this point. The look on his face this entire playoff season is the look of utter disgust. Earlier this season, around All Star Weekend, which was in February, the team gutted out a lot of people. I was like shocked that certain people was let go from the Cavs team. I was like, whoa, they let that person go. That person was on the team. They got them a ring. Yeah, they cleaned house and they got rid of some people that they should not have got rid of, and they replaced them with people that's like, who are they? So this team without LeBron cannot be held up by Kevin Love, J.R. Smith, and Tristan Thompson. It cannot. This team is not going to a playoffs without him. But he's a free agent after next month. And regardless to whether he goes to the finals or not, he's gone from Cleveland. Like I don't see him staying. Like the look on his face, his attitude, the climate in Cleveland. Like he's getting absolutely no support from people that he feels as though should be supporting him. The coach, Tyronn Lue and LeBron James, their relationship has declined over the last year, I would say. I don't see them as close on the court like they used to. Um, and LeBron's just out there coach. Literally, he's a player and a coach. He's out there coaching the team, and being a player. And as coaching staff, they just sitting there letting it go on. This is not a well-oiled machine team. They're sure they're winning games, but it's not organized. It's not structured. It's not what it's supposed to be. So it's a number of teams that he will go to that has been circulating as far as rumors over the last several months, and those are the Sixers, Sixers, the Heat, the Lakers, the Spurs, the Celtics, and the Rockets. So he's going to one of those six teams, and whichever team he picks to go to this summer is going to be a lot of talk of him and his new team. But I don't see him being on the Cavs after next month. Like, it's done. He has the same attitude and facial expressions he did 8 years ago in 2010 when he first left the team. And I've never seen him so disengaged from even having to care whether or not they win or not. This LeBron James is the he looks like he did 8 years ago when he was younger. It's the end of the Cavs as far as being relevant in the NBA. If they ever make it to another playoffs, they most likely won't get past the first round if he leaves, based on who they have as a coach and who they have on their roster. But it'll be very interesting to see next season the state of the Cavs team and where they rank throughout the season as far as seed count. But you know, it's coming. I mean, all great things come to an end at some point, and this man's been in the NBA for 15 years now, and a lot of players retire between 15 years and 20 years. So he's coming at the time where he's also in retirement mode. So he has a lot of variables to think about. So yeah, it's his last in Cleveland.
I'm going to agree with Amina. Definitely LeBron's last season in Cleveland. I hope you Cavaliers fans can get used to seeing LeBron James over these past few years because it's real that he's going to leave. As my sister pointed out, she just went in. I mean, there's certainly nothing more to add other than the fact that if this team gets past Boston, which let me just be clear, at 10:54 p.m. Eastern time in the evening, that the Cavaliers are not making it past Boston in Boston in Game Seven. You know, right now, I believe the Cavaliers are up by at least 9 points with 3 minutes left in the court in the fourth quarter. But so that score holds, and the Cavaliers hold on, and they beat the Warriors, and they the Boston Celtics. Then so be it. It's 96-107 right now. But they're not going to win in Boston. Boston's undefeated. And even with LeBron James dropping 50 before, I think that game two is really what gave the Rockets confidence. Y'all can tell what's on my brain. The Rockets confidence because they were able to. I didn't even get it right the second time. The Celtics confidence because they were able to so out Cavaliers the Cavaliers. Like they effectively shut everybody else down and allowed somebody else to beat them, and nobody else stepped up. So LeBron was basically playing 1-on-5 basketball, and that's not fun to play, especially at 33 years old. And I think what most people discount is the fact that he's 33 years old. As I've said on this podcast, as Amina said, 33 was the last good year of Kobe. It's the last. It was the last. It will prop. It was. It's the last good year of a lot of players. I mean, Dwayne Wade, he's a good player, but we'll see now that he's 33 as well. I mean, it's just 33 is the age that these shooting
D
guards.
Wade is like 36 or 37. He's a little bit older than LeBron. He's close to 40 right now.
sorry, the early to mid 30s is the death wish in the NBA, especially to the guards. And LeBron is a great player. Won't ever say he's not. But it's time to understand that whether they lose tonight or Monday, or not Monday, Tuesday, like it's over. It's over for him in the Cavaliers uniform. Like enjoy your last season of Cleveland. Enjoy it. Like really enjoy it. Savor it like a fine wine, because after this you go back to being irrelevant again. Like you go back to being the sports hellhole that we always knew you were. At least that championship from a couple of years ago will keep you warm. You know. What's the? I ain't trying to linger too long on this. All right, so that wraps up that question. Go ahead, Andre. Dre, you there? No. Dre, nobody can hear. Nobody can hear me? Yeah, turn yourself up a little bit. We get something. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. What question?
Is the LeBron's final season in the Cleveland Cavaliers jersey question?
Oh yeah, definitely his last season in Cleveland Cavaliers. It's it's gonna be bittersweet. They're gonna win the championship, but he's still gonna leave because he doesn't have any help there. They definitely made it out of the Eastern Conference. Boston ain't the team that's gonna make it out. And LeBron's gonna will his team to the finals, and they're gonna beat up on the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets gonna give them everything they have, but LeBron's gonna push past them. Golden State is not gonna make it this year, Amina. Sorry. Matter of fact, sorry, not sorry.
All right, moving right along. Reaction to the Sterling Brown arrest video. For those of you that don't know, you've been living under a rock. Sterling Brown is a guard for the Milwaukee Bucks. He wound up getting tased and beat up by the Milwaukee Police Department over parking in a handicap spot at 2 a.m. Now, I think the timing is important at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. on an early Tuesday or Monday morning in front of a Walgreens. So the video was released, and we're going to talk our reaction to that. I'll start. My reaction to it is, just really simple. My reaction to it is the same reaction I had when Michael Bennett got arrested. No matter how much money you have, no matter what sport you play, no matter if you could put a ball through a hoop, a soccer ball through a goal post, no matter if you can make the best tackles ever on Sunday afternoons and Sunday evenings, you will always be black. And any time that you do something that's even remotely considered wrong, they will not hesitate. The system, the people, somebody will not hesitate to put you back in their place and to let you know that you are below them. And unfortunately, Sterling Brown had to experience this at the hands of police officers. And I don't understand how, after you watch that video, even no matter how pro police you are, how you can watch that video and think that Sterling Brown did anything wrong besides being somewhat a little bit smart to the officer. But in both of their defense, like the officer came and escalated the situation. Like I said, watch the video. It's a 30-minute video. Watch the video, see for yourself at Colin W. Watson, whatever, if you disagree. But I don't understand how all that is required. How 4 cop cars showing up for a tall, skinny black man in a hoodie and some sweatpants. How you couldn't tell that was an athlete is beyond me. But you can't have 6 cop cars come in, have about 6 to 8 officers tackling the man, then tasing him for nothing, when it's obviously clear that you came in to escalate the situation. So like I said, my thoughts on this is this, right? Y'all can do what y'all want. Y'all can listen to people like Jason Whitlock, and as he talks about how, most black rich people don't have to deal with racism. LeBron James says hi, especially after his house got spray painted with the N-word. And Sterling Brown says hi. And in Milwaukee, one of the most, a lot of you may be all like Milwaukee, that sounds familiar. Not only is it a part of Wisconsin, but it's also where Sheriff David Clark, or as I like to call him, the tormentor in chief, where he was from, in the jails and prison, in the department that he ran, and he was a disgrace, just like those officers who did all this to Sterling Brown. But like I said, no matter how tall you are, no matter what your skill on the field or on the basketball court is, to them, you'll always be black, and they'll never hesitate to put you in your place. Go ahead, Andre.
These the Sterling Brown video is ludicrous. It's absurd that we keep seeing these things happen and no one cares. It's ultimately the word that we get out of all this stuff, that no one cares. That it's unfair of young black men or grown black men, old black men. You black, you wrong in America. This KKK America. I can't wait for this movie to come out that Spike Lee's doing about a black man infiltrating the KKK at one of the highest levels. Because it's so relative to what we're going through today, man. The President Trump, is the grand wizard right now, and everyone's following his lead. They're acting out of turn. They're not. They're considering their bigotry. They're racist. They say whatever comes to mind. They're calling the cops whenever they think black people are in the wrong. Just they're living normal day life. And the Sterling Brown video shows cop had nothing better to do than write a ticket, situation, and turn it into, we need to get him on the ground and we need to lock him up because he's not complying with what we're saying. I never understood this mentality that I gotta agree with everything the police do. I don't have to agree with a damn thing y'all say. You got a job, okay, do your job. My job as a citizen is to do what you're doing. It's not to go along with what you're doing, because sometimes you are wrong. And a lot of times when it comes to black people, they are wrong. It's ridiculous that the mayor just came out, the mayor of that town that came out and apologized and said they went wrong. No. I need more than that. I need them fired. This type of treatment, especially black people, will have you fired, will have charges pressed against you to the fullest extent of the law. Let's make Americans, man. They always got us feeling like second race citizens. And now we got this Harvey Weinstein situation in effect. And we know he's not going to get treated like Bill Cosby did. So, I'm just so sick of talking about race in this country. But I guess the only way I'll get away from it is I gotta get out of this country. But I'm not. That's not going to happen. So I'm not leaving, and the racism is never going to stop. Too many years, and it's still too much time that people are hiding racism, and people are treated to their children. And they're asking what's going what anyone wants. I don't want that. That's not what the police officers want. That's not what the city want. But you can't. You enough. Something is bound to happen. For every action, there's a reaction.
All right. Go ahead, Amina. Go ahead, Amina.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, right. I'm gonna say briefly because this situation seems to be happening a lot over the years, and it's just kind of redundant at this point. Sterling is an NBA player, Milwaukee Bucks, and apparently he had a run-in with police officers out there in Wisconsin, and they beat him up. It just goes to show that no matter who you are, no matter how much money you have, what your status is, where you live in, what you do for a living, etc., it doesn't matter. In the eyes of the white man's laws and the white man's law enforcement, we're all Niggers to them. Always have been, always will be. No ifs, ands, or buts. They just, like Kylan said, they just remind us every now and then that even those of us that make it far aren't really far. We're all on the same level, just some of us got a little bit more cash in the bank than others. But at the end of the day, some of us need to really wake up and realize that we're all the same as far as black folks. No matter if you're making 50,000 a year or if you got 50 million in the bank, you're still black in America, which means you can't navigate through this life without going through black experiences. Some happen early on in life, some happen later on, but you can't live in America and not have black experiences. And they don't even care. I mean, look, he's an NBA player. So, it is what it is. At this point, I'm so immune to the BS that I'm not surprised at anything else. Just get ready for another long summer ahead. But that's my statement on Sterling for the Milwaukee Bucks.
All right. Spoiler right along. We're going to let's move into our next one. Um,
Carson Wentz question.
Oh yeah, move on to the next question. I'm sorry. So the next question is, you guys think, and this is another one from last week, for y'all too. Will Carson Wentz be ready by week 1? Go ahead, Amina.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Right now, I don't think so. I don't think he needs to start playing for the team for week 1. This is the first major entry of his professional career, and we don't know how it's gonna play out. I don't think he needs to jump right into the season and take a chance on screwing up, because a lot of players that are older than him that have had the injury that he has, they ended up having it again. It's like, and their leg becomes glass at that point. So we don't know his physical capabilities at this point. And Nick Foles isn't interested really in leaving the team. The Cleveland Browns had offered him a contract and he turned it down. So that tells me that outside of Nick Foles, the Eagles don't have a quarterback. So they need him. So start Foles in week 1 and see how the season goes. Because Eagles, they can't afford to lose a Carson Wentz, and they got nobody other than Nick Foles. I say start Carson Wentz on limited activity because he has not been cleared to come back, as far as his primary care physician and his physical therapist. They have not cleared him, which means they're not confident in him coming back. So if they're not confident, why should the public be? Take all the time he needs to bounce back. Take all the time he needs to heal, because it's not worth it over a football game. Your life, safety, and health is more important than football games. Uh, let let Nick Foles start like he's been doing since the end of the regular season this past season, to keep some type of normalcy in the team while Carson Wentz is getting the strength back. But right now, I don't see him ready for week 1. Maybe when the season starts, I'll be able to have a more different of an opinion, but not right now. That man's still walking around with a brace on his leg and a cane, so he's not ready.
All right, Andre, we're gonna try this again because I know his Hangouts is acting up. But we'll see. Dre, you there? That's not. Like I said, I kind of answered the question yesterday, or not yesterday, last week. God, excuse me, I'm a little tired. Last week, yeah, I think that I kind of agree with Amina. Like if Carson Wentz isn't ready, start Nick Foles. Give Nick Foles as much time as he needs. I mean, not Nick Foles. Give Carson Wentz as much time as he needs. That's the franchise. I'm expecting him to last 10 to 12 years. Uh, and uh, and just take it to another level. And the only way he can do that is to continue to rehab, come back healthy, and get ready for a deep playoff run. Because, like I said last week, the Super Bowl is impossible without him having one of the best sophomore seasons I think we've ever seen in the sport of football. So I need healthy Carson Wentz. I don't need trying to overdo it, doing too much Carson Wentz. That's how he got the injury in the first place, doing too much. And I feel like he needs to take all the time he needs. He doesn't have to worry about it. Will not replace him. Have always said that Carson Wentz is the starter, and nobody's going to replace Carson Wentz. So, like I said, I don't know what his insistence on getting back on the field is, but I'm sure he has a good reason. I'm sure he wants to redeem himself. I'm sure he wants to get a Super Bowl ring for the city as well and have a full healthy season. Hopefully, he can work towards that. But right now, it's all about caution. And for Carson Wentz, I would say exercise caution instead of rushing back and then getting injured again and having people like me write a story about it's Carson Wentz. This is the end of Carson Wentz's promising career, and nobody wants to write that. All right, so moving right along to our next one. Matt isn't here, so we'll just skip this. And this is Matt's baseball segment. One thing I really have to add is that the Phillies are a half game away from taking back first place in the NL East again. They're once again on a win streak, and hopefully they will continue it. All right, moving right along. All right, Amina, your reaction to the reports that most GMs view Colin Kaepernick as a starting quarterback.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
This goes back to the first question of the night, but more of a synopsis. It just goes to further prove that the NFL conspired against this man for his career. It was a witch hunt. It was all planned, and I find it rather funny or interesting that they all admit this, or starting to all admit it, right when he's about to get this lawsuit of his won for himself. Like, y'all literally, just like I said in the first question, y'all dry snitching on yourselves, and that's in the street, that's not cool. Y'all literally had phone records, emails, and a hard copy paper trails of saying that this man, y'all not gonna sign. Y'all didn't say why, but we all know why. But now y'all coming out to say that he should be a starter quarterback, not a bench quarterback, which is like, wow. It took y'all 2 years to say this. Clap, clap. Congratulations. NFL, y'all do it. Y'all have done it again. Good luck paying out that multi-million-dollar lawsuit to Colin Kaepernick, because y'all gonna have to pay. And I want the memes to end too, talking about Colin Kaepernick is a horrible quarterback. I want people to actually compare his stats to other quarterback stats and see how high he ranks, because that man is Super Bowl material. Stop comparing him to these mediocre quarterbacks. The NFL is making me pissed off.
I'll just say it like this. I said before on this podcast, there's no way somebody who led their team to a Super Bowl has played well enough had played well enough in his last NFL season to warrant be considered a starting quarterback and everything. I always said, I've said on this podcast, it's really weird, and I've got my tinfoil hat on for this. It's really weird that, a Super Bowl, a person who has gotten their team to a Super Bowl goes unsigned, especially a quarterback at one of the most important positions. And you would think that with the way the game of football is moving, to more mobile quarterbacks, to quarterbacks that can throw a deep ball, which is right up Colin Kaepernick's alley, it got weirder and weirder, unless it was through nefarious means why Colin Kaepernick doesn't have a job. And it turns out that the reason may be because, and this is all speculation, President 45, BP, and a bunch of the owners got together and said, you know what, and this is all speculation on my part, but I just noticed that a lot of people are showing how chummy they are together and everything, and how everything is looking good. And today, Colin Kaepernick's lawyer tweeted about some case law where it is clear that a president and a VP cannot try to use a private company for its own personal gains by punishing that company to silence dissent and things like this, which is perfect. It's like there's a Supreme Court case for everything wrong that some of these people do. And so Colin Kaepernick is going to be paid a lot of money. My thought of him being a starting quarterback is, I'm glad the NFL finally caught up to what all of us can see, that Colin Kaepernick is still a great quarterback who deserves to be in this league. And the fact that he is not is because of, like I said, nefarious means. And I'm not saying that the NFL had a plan to screw him over. I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that it becomes more and more believable that there were steps taken to keep that man off the football field. And if that is the case, all those people involved need to go to jail, because you cannot be ruining young men's lives over times when they either take a stand or they're just being stupid. They're teenagers. It's time to let them live. Stop playing around. So unless Andre's ready. Andre, you there? You ready? No, you still kind of
Can you hear me?
can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick. Well, I didn't address that question. I addressed the person next question. That sounds racist, man. And all the owners that stick up to the NFL and Anthem and all the other crap. It has nothing to do with football. It has something to do with their uh, anti, protests. Like they just want you to shut up and play. How can I shut up and play when my brothers and sisters are dying in the streets? Like now, I need to take my platform and give more light on the situation that's happening around our nation. Sometimes the game has to take a back seat when there's something more important happening, and that's just simple facts. Like it's 1 + 1 is 2. Like shout out to the Jets owner, the chairman that doesn't. He said he's not going to silence his players, and he's going to eat the fine every time they want to protest on the field. Tell me to stay in the locker room. You know, the NFL kills me, man. You're taking public money. You took public dollars to build your stadiums. You didn't build that stadium by yourself. So how are you going to take away our civil rights, our freedom of speech? It's totally absurd, man. Give Colin Kaepernick a job. It's racist ass league. I understand why people stop watching the NFL. And if I didn't love my Eagles as much as I do, I would stop watching. But I'm telling you, they pushing me. They pushing me to that point. Because listen, there are plenty of other sports I can watch. There's plenty of other stuff I can spend my money on. Not this racist ass NFL. Now, with Carson Wentz, he will not be ready week 1. I don't know why they keep trying to rush him. I don't know why he keep trying to rush himself. He needs to take a slow pace. And I understand, like, he's probably afraid of losing his job to Nick Foles. Like, because if Nick Foles comes back and looks anything like he did last season, oh man, it's going to be really hard to argue putting Carson Wentz back on the field. And don't get me wrong, he's our guy. He's our number one guy. But if somebody's hot, you don't take out the hot guy and put in the guy who hasn't been playing, because now he has to get in the flow. He's getting game shape. And the only way you get in game shape is you play in the damn game. You can't get in game shape playing practices, working out. That's all good and dandy, but you actually got to play the game. So he won't be ready week 1. You need to let Nick Foles play his game. I agree with me that you should use him um, in small increments. Have him do a play here, play there. Make sure he stays out of harm's way. So I just can't wait for the season to start. I can't wait for preseason to start. And the Eagles they're doing great work in the off season. So let's go.
All right, so moving right along. Will the NBA now take over as the number one sport in the NFL? I'll start. Yes, they will. Because the NBA, unlike most of the four major sports leagues, they have it together. They understand that protests. The NBA is much more. We've called it a number of times on this podcast. The NBA is much more progressive than the NFL. The NBA understands and leverages their players better than the NFL. There's way more high profile personality in basketball players than there are football players. And basketball players are allowed to use their platform to affect social change and not be censored like in the NFL. I think that the NBA has a lot going for it, besides having recognizable stars like LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, James Harden, Chris Paul. They have a litany of players lined up. They're working on the international game. Like I said, they're just far more ahead than football. And you have a commissioner. And I think a lot of this boils down to leadership. You have a commissioner in Adam Silver that will support his players. And that trickles down all the way to the bottom where they say, oh, if he cares, I guess we all got to care. I think the NFL suffers from lack of empathy, from a caring problem. They don't really care because they know that they're not really going to be affected. But a good way to affect it is for them to drop in ratings and for the NBA to pick up their ratings and eventually supplant them as the number one sport. So that way, the people at the NFL can know that not only do black dollars matter, making sure that you're helping us matters. So many things matter to us. And so when they're supplanted by the NBA, they can really see that this was the beginning of the end for them, because once they signed that regressive censorship-like policy, they doomed themselves to be in the second, third, or the fourth best sport in this country, because it's going to be supplanted by the NBA, because not just because of popularity, but because there's more recognizable stars in basketball than there are in football. Go ahead, Amina.
Kylan is correct. Everything he said is true. The NFL have said it twice this evening. I've said it once on Facebook this week, and I've said it a few times in days in the past. The NFL, up until this point, was the top of the food chain as far as sports in America, as far as the hierarchy is concerned. Between Colin Kaepernick, his movement, his collusion lawsuit, and what else? Oh yeah, and the fans that don't support the movement, NFL fans. It's all going to tank the NFL, and the writing is on the wall. I mean, I don't know what more else people need to see, but it's there. The NFL is not up to par. It's like a building that's like several decades old that's not up to building code, and they tell the owner either you get this building up to code or you're out. That's what's going on right now with the NFL. They're out. They have not progressed the mindset or the culture of the NFL. It's ancient, it's outdated, it's prehistoric, it is archaic. It is a fossil. Yep, a fossil. And it is not going anywhere but the dirt. They don't want to progress. They don't want to do anything new. It's just old school, whatnot. But when you look at the NBA, it's basketball leagues popping up all over the globe. We got the Toronto Raptors over there in Canada. We got the team that LeVar Ball's two younger sons, D'Angelo and LaMelo, were on over there in Lithuania. You got basketball leagues over there in the United Kingdom and Europe. I think they got one in Australia. You got basketball leagues in Asian countries. And all these different cultures and ethnicities come together and play basketball for games, seasons, and as well the Olympic as well the is the Olympics. That's every 2 years. And it just goes to show that the NBA is moving in the proper direction. I mean, they let their players take their form of protest for situations that personally affect them as far as their lives or that they are sympathetic towards. Like a few years ago, LeBron James did the thing with his hands with the powder. Some players have worn hoodies to support victims of police brutality, and some players have worn socks to commemorate the lives of people lost to senseless violence in the streets. And it's moving along. And you have people that are born and raised in America that don't want to play in the NBA or the WNBA for the women, and they just go straight overseas. I mean, there's so many opportunities for basketball now. This is not like 25, 50 years ago where you only had a handful of teams in the NBA and no other teams outside of that. No, people love basketball. It's a great way to bond. It's a good way to have a first date with someone. It's a great way to make form relationships and business partnerships with people. Basketball unites people like no other sport. Like when I watch games, I've been to basketball games over the years, a few of them, and the way people have fellowship in the stands and the parking lot, it's like wow. But yeah, basketball is going to be the number one sport in America, and football is just going to be what it is. I mean, I don't see parents these days putting their sons in football like they used to. When I was coming up, or even before that, parents these days they look for basketball leagues to put their little 5 and 6 year old sons in. They're not going around asking anybody, "Oh, do you know any football leagues in the area?" No. And on top of the CTE situation, especially since Aaron Hernandez passed last April, yeah, NFL, y'all done. Like after 98 years, football is actually going out. Like it's not going to go out permanently. Some people will be loyal to the bone to watch, but the NFL, as we've known it over the years, is not going to exist. It's going to be a mediocre sports league. I still support my team, but as far as the NFL being what we once knew it to be, it won't be. The NBA is taking over, and it's showing every day. Just got to keep up with what's going on. Next question.
The hell with the NFL, man. Racist ass bastards. and I'm so upset with the NFL. I'm so disappointed with the NFL. You know, the NBA for a long time. It's been changing has been cultivating into a league where, they are clearly the future. They they have, I said before on podcasts, they have uh, a gay GM. There's no gay GMs in the NFL. It's an anti-gay culture in the NFL. So what they let the Dallas Cowboys player play. See how long he played, but he didn't have great talent, of course, but they clearly live by the old school rules instead of the new school rules, and they're not willing to talk about injustice. They're not willing to pay cheerleaders what they should get paid. They want to treat women any kind of way. It's so many problems with the NFL. We can go on and on and on. But you know what? Let's just bury this mother. And let's move on to the NBA. When you step up to the plate, you deserve the number one spot. When you hide in the shadows and you try to stick with 90s traditions in 2018, you deserve to die in front of everyone.
All right, moving right along, we'll say that the sports betting question for y'all for later. Let's knock the rest of these questions out so we can get out of here before midnight. Uh, so are you guys beginning to worry about the health of the Warriors? Go ahead, Amina.
No, I'm not worried about the health of my team. Health wise, no. I'm worried about other things right now. Defense, that's tapered off since Andre Iguodala ended up out of the game before last due to a little injury. Clay Thompson had a little situation going on. I think he'll be back for tomorrow at the Oracle game. Yes, tomorrow. I'm not worried about health because this goes on. I mean, sometimes 2, 3 players on my team that's out due to health reasons. If we still move on to next rounds, next seasons, and no, I'm more concerned about the real situations with my team as far as they've started playing a style of basketball that's not what they do at this time of the season. And I'm like watching TV. I'm like, what the hell are y'all doing out there? Just making me upset. Defense, it's not up to par. What else? Defense, style of play, and their shooting ability. Like I watched the game. I think it was the fourth game, game 4, and I sat there and watched. I was like, what is going on with their shooting today? Like I don't know what the hell happened as far as their mood or whatever, but they need to snap out of that because it's not acceptable. This is the conference finals. This is not this is not the first round. This is not the regular season. This is not All Star weekend. This is not playoff. This is not preseason. This is playoffs. This is do it or go home type of situation. And I need them to truly snap out of it, whatever funk is going on with them. And I truly think they're all going to bounce back like they need to tomorrow because some statements were made to Steph Curry's father and his wife outside after they lost the most recent game that were truly unacceptable. Like they really made Houston fans. They really made some statements to his family and included his children in it. Like you don't put a man's children into your hatred for him and his team. So that's going to be more ammunition, for them to take care of Houston and Oakland tomorrow. I don't appreciate the video that I seen today. Very disappointed. I expect things like that out of Houston fans. They're all like that for some reason. But just defense, get out of that ISO type play and work on the well-oiled machine that I know y'all are and can be. Y'all have proven that the last 3 years. Y'all have proven it. Like, for the defending champions, got a title to defend. Please act like it. Don't act like y'all ain't ever been to a finals or a playoffs. This is not y'all's case. We have a title to defend. Wake up tomorrow. Thank you. Next question.
Andre.
And be civil too. Don't be a hater. Take
I
your time.
like the way you put a disclaimer on, but this is America. And I'm gonna exercise my freedoms. So the Warriors, no, I'm not worried about their health. I want them to lose. You know, there's no there's no mystery behind that. I'm tired of seeing them win. I just unless it's my team, and I know it sounds really selfish, but my teams have lost for a long time. So naturally, I would like to see my teams win for a while. You know, it would cure all the losing we've done for years. You know, so but I talked about this before in the podcast. When you play every year in the finals and you play every year in the playoffs, you play a season. It's a lot of basketball my team. So they're naturally going to break down. Like these guys aren't going to have the full energy. Like the Houston Rockets had a lot of time off. You know, like they got kicked out the second round of the playoffs last year. So they had time to rest up, to work on their game that the Warriors didn't necessarily have. Like the Warriors won, they probably partied their minds out, and they didn't have to worry about anything because they had such a great team. But it's funny. Winning cures everything. Let's see how this team gels together when they start losing. Because they're going to lose this year. They're not going to win a championship this year. I don't care what Amina says. I don't care what Colin says. I don't care what Matt says. They are going to lose this year.
Were you hating several years ago when the Miami Heat with the 4 straight finals? Or were you a little when the Chicago Bulls in the 90s went to 2 3-peats? Were you hating then? Or how about the early 2000s when the Los Angeles Lakers went to
what's funny?
numerous back finals? Were you hating then? Or is it just because it's the Warriors? I just need to know.
Well, it's the Warriors and it's their super team. Like,
okay, thank you for admitting it's just my team that you just have hatred for, and it's not other people that have done the same thing in the NBA.
No, your team has more than 3 superstars. Miami only had 3 superstars. Don't get me wrong. Ray Allen is a great player, but he wasn't a superstar on the Miami Heat. He showed up in some games, but he didn't show up like that every game. Like Kevin Durant's like that every game. Draymond Green is like that every game. Stephen Curry's like that every game. Klay Thompson like that every game. That's 4 superstars. Your team is loaded.
But whose fault is that the other teams don't know how to stack their roster up? No one's fault.
It's no hard. One's fault. First of all,
no one's fault. Nobody complained about the 90s Bulls, D-Wade's Heat, Kobe's Lakers, back in the day, Bill Russell's Celtics. Nobody.
That's a team. There you go. I hate the Lakers. I always have.
Nobody complained about none of them teams, but here come my team. Everybody has hatred for them. And it's like, wow.
I still hate the Lakers, but I don't talk about that because they're irrelevant. Just like I don't talk about the Cowboys anymore. And they said, them dudes have won a title in 23 years or something like that? It's something ridiculous. Like, there's no need to even talk about these teams anymore. They're irrelevant. We only talk about the teams that's winning. So, and this team is very cocky. They aren't like the most humble dudes ever. Like Stephen Curry, when he makes a shot, he comes down and does that stupid shimmy. I was loving when Chris Paul hit that shot and did that shimmy right in his face. Because he's always showboating off. He's always dancing around the and doing some stupid like, grow up, man. You made a basket. You make a lot of baskets. Can you be a little classy about it sometimes? But no, he can't do that. But he's one of the greatest players of all time. You know, I give him that. He's one of the greatest players of all time. But, you know, he's not the most classiest player of all time. I'll tell you that. So, I can't lie. I'm hating on the Warriors. Oh, man. Go ahead, Colin. What you say?
I mean, I just feel like the Warriors. About that, both of these teams are going to be done in by injuries. This is the war of attrition.
Yeah, this is going to be the walking wounded. Whoever wins this championship, it's going to be like they had somebody left. That's exactly how they're going to win the championship. But I sincerely don't think. I feel like Chris Paul, James Harden are tired of living in the Warriors' shadow. So they are definitely going to get past the Warriors. I believe they're going to close the game out tomorrow. They're not going to wait to get that Houston. Because if you give, listen, as much as I hate the Warriors, I have to admit they're a great team. If you give them any kind of momentum, it's to your detriment. You gotta, when you got them on the ground, you gotta slit their throat. Can't keep your foot in there. You gotta slit their throat and watch them bleed out. It's exactly what you gotta do. So I feel like the Warriors are gonna come out on fire. Everybody's gonna be, you know, because they know the Warriors gonna come out and try to punch them in the mouth first. They're just gonna have to keep punching back. Or just keep ducking, you know. Just try.
Did you figure out what team you're loyal to yet? I'm just asking. One last final question.
No more questions.
Because you're seriously the most unloyal NBA fan I've ever heard of in my life. It's like.
So it's a war of attrition. Rockets are down Chris Paul now, so they're probably going to lose now because every time Chris Paul gets injured, the teams fall apart. No matter which superstars on his team, he's had Blake Griffin. He's going to have James Harden. We'll see how James Harden does when he's got to do everything by himself tomorrow. We'll see it all tomorrow. Probably see a returning Andre Iguodala. But am I worried about the Warriors' injuries? Yeah, because, you know, like I said, they're falling apart without Andre Iguodala, just like the Rockets will fall apart tomorrow without Chris Paul. It's a war of attrition in this conference. It's going to go 7 games, and there'll be a war of attrition based on if Chris Paul plays and if Andre Iguodala plays. If both teams are at full strength, it'll be a good game. If both teams are not at full strength, you could expect a 30-point blowout on somebody's behalf. And either way, just to answer the next question, a Western Conference team is going to destroy the Eastern Conference team, whether that be the Celtics or the Cavaliers, because now we got a 7-game series over there too. But, you know, I think the Warriors, if they can pull it out, they'll pull it out. If the Rockets pull it out, still gonna sweep whoever's in the Eastern Conference. So either way, it's over for. This is about as much success as an Eastern Conference team is going to have this year. So it really doesn't matter. But it's a war of attrition on all sides of the NBA bracket. So, you know, I mean, for the Warriors, it's just about taking it one game at a time. For the Rockets, like Dre said, you got to step on their throat while you can, but it's going to get a lot harder without your your main playmaker, making them rainbow shots that he has no business making outside of Houston, like he did last night. And if you don't have that, your offense is significantly more stagnant than it usually is. But moving right along. All right. Will the Cavaliers? All right, Andre, it's your turn to save your Cavaliers because I think they're going to lose on Tuesday. So go ahead and show us your faith. Do you think the Cavaliers will beat the young Celtics?
Hell yes. It's funny, Cal. You've been saying that crap since what? I think didn't you tell me at one point that they're gonna get swept by the Celtics or some crap? It's funny. It's like the Celtics lose a game, and then you say they're gonna still win the series. They're gonna win by this number, and then you keep pushing them back and back and back and back.
No, I said that they didn't win. If they didn't win a game last week, they'd get swept. But they kept winning. But they won their 2 games at home. All this has been is the home team winning. That's all each of these series are. The home team wins.
Yeah, right about that.
And it'll be the same thing on Monday.
And Game 7 is in Boston.
Yeah, I don't get about that.
So unless you're going to tell me that all of a sudden Boston's going to forget that they're 10-0 in Boston and haven't lost in the playoffs, doesn't matter who's on the other side. And unless you're telling me that you're expecting J.R. Smith and all of them to show up in Boston, it's not going to happen. They didn't show up in Cleveland.
Listen, when it does happen, I want you and Amina and everybody that's a part of this podcast to say, I was wrong. You blank your name, and you were right, Andre. Just do that for me. If you do that for me, oh man, it'll be like Christmas in May. You hear me? But the Cavs gonna definitely come back. They're gonna win this series. Because they should have won game 2. They didn't have the lead in game 2, but he just disappeared in the second half. But LeBron James has such a fight, man. Like, he's similar to the great players, to the Kobe's, to the Michael Jordan, and to the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magics. He has that fight in him that's not going to let him stop. Like, he's going to drain everything out. And his best against Boston best, I take any day of the week. You hear me? Any day of the week.
All I got to say is this. For those of you who think that LeBron James is going to all of a sudden cake up and win in Boston, I just want y'all to understand Boston hasn't lost all playoffs at home. So unless, like I said, Andre, you're going to tell me that he goes for 50 points and everybody else show up in Boston, it's not happening. Like I said, y'all just need to understand this. This is the weakest team he's ever taken to the playoffs, and it's going to show itself. It just is.
No, I disagree. That team that had, I believe Tyronn Lue was on his team. The team that had Booby, Daniel Gibson, and I can't think of the one they said it was screwing his mom. What's his name? Light skinned kid. That was the weakest team he had. Those guys disappeared.
Listen, this is the weakest team and the worst team he's taken because that team with the other boys on it play defense. This team doesn't. So, like I said, unless you're telling me that J.R. Smith's going to show up, Kevin Love's going to show up, all that inconsistency is all of a sudden going to evaporate in Game 7. It's not happening. And like I said, 10-0, 11-0, whatever it is, at home in Boston. Like, no, it's not gonna happen. You might as well just get ready. Game 7 is going. History's going to repeat itself.
Colin, when I'm right, are you gonna do what I asked you to do?
Yes, I'll do what you asked me.
Yes.
And when I'm right, you do the same thing.
I surely will.
Team Watson.
Huh?
Because listen,
Hold on, let's see what Mina said. Mina, what you do?
Team Watson.
Listen. It is what it is. But LeBron James is going to have to score 80. Is going to have a Wilt Chamberlain like game to beat Boston and Boston. He's going to have to score dang near 100 points to beat Boston and Boston. And if he can't do that, then not. Like I said, unless you're telling me what didn't happen, because listen, Andre, this was the perfect game for everybody to show up. And by all accounts, because they didn't beat Boston until like the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, where LeBron James just went off. If you're telling me that you're relying on one man to beat 3 younger stars and now Horford.
No, but I'm saying I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying he's gonna be great, and he's gonna help his teammates to show up. That's what I'm saying. His teammates are going to show up. They're going to play their hearts out. I don't know who it's going to be. Whether it's going to be J.R. Smith, it's going to be Tristan Thompson. If Kevin Love comes back somehow miraculously, but somebody's going to step up.
I think you're ignoring the pattern. Every time in the series, the home team wins.
I don't care.
It's going to hold the form once again. I'm telling you, man. You pay attention to the pattern. It's going to hold up once again. 10-0 at home. There is no denying this. So the blueprint is
LeBron's last game ever as a Cleveland Cavalier is Tuesday.
The last time this happened to him,
he went to the Miami Heat.
No, the last time this happened, this is history repeating itself,
yes,
man.
It is.
Last time before he left Cleveland, he had to face Boston in the Game 7. Sure, that was Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and Kevin Garnett Celtics. But it's the same thing. He had to go to the Garden. He had to have a Herculean-type effort to take one of the worst teams in Cleveland history, get them this far. And then he ran out of gas in Game 7. What's going to happen again, man?
And now he ran off the D-Wade.
They got 2 days to get it together. But listen, man, it's gonna work out in your favor because all it's gonna end up doing is this. Whether he wins or loses, he's gonna do the same thing, except he's gonna run to Philadelphia to Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. So it doesn't really matter because it's gonna work out in our favor.
Team Hopper.
It's gonna work out in our favor regardless. So he's gonna do what he gotta do. He's not gonna have a good game. I'm just saying he's gonna do everything he can, and it's not gonna go nowhere. I told you this series reminds me of the first series against the Warriors, where LeBron James did everything, and the moment was too big for the rest of his teammates. That's what it is. Without Kyrie Irving, the mask, LeBron James being old, the fact that that nobody plays defense on the Cavaliers, they're going to lose. They're going to lose. You might as well just face it. You might as well get ready. It's going to happen. They're going to lose.
Tyronn Lue's getting fired too. It's coming.
They're going to lose a Game 7. Everybody's going to get their wish. They're going to get something different. They're going to get Boston in the finals for the first time in 10 years. You're going to get something different. I don't know what y'all complaining about. You're going to get something different. You're going to get Boston versus either the Rockets or the Warriors in the finals. The next day, because it's May 31st is the finals. So you gonna get a new game the next day. I mean, it should be great for y'all. Y'all gonna go from getting 7 games to the to the worst game one finals you've ever seen because both teams are going to be so tired. It's going to be the worst opening game of a finals ever. I'm calling that too. You know, it's going to be the worst opening game of a finals ever. You know, because you only get 1 day between games, and both of these series don't wrap up until about Tuesday. Oh, it's gonna be the worst. It's gonna be the worst opening to a finals ever, no matter who makes it.
I love
Because
you,
both-
Kylan. You make sense. He's the genius over here.
But listen, man, I understand you like LeBron James. He's been helping you out throughout this whole finals. I don't know, man. 10-0 at home, haven't lost in Boston. Shots be going in that never go in outside of Boston. It's the same thing that happened to Houston last night. Because Chris Paul was just throwing up prayers and they just kept me answering. And I kept saying the same thing. The heck is going on in Houston that this man keeps making these shots that he never makes any other time? You know, it's the same thing in Boston. There'll be shots going in that you never expect. Terry Rozier be getting double teamed. He'll do a fadeaway three and it'll go in and you'll be all like, what the heck? Whatever, it's Boston, you know? But I get it. You don't think LeBron James, you can't wrap your head around LeBron losing in the game 7, even though it's happened before. I understand. It's been so long ago, I think a lot of you forgot that he loses in game 7s. But I can understand.
Last time this happened was 8 years ago. He went to go join his best friend at the Miami Heat. D-Wade.
I understand. But anyway, let's get this out the way. Predictions for playoff basketball. Let's go. Go ahead, Andre. You start. What's your prediction?
Where'd he go?
Dre, you there? All right, go ahead. He'll come back.
You said the predictions for the playoffs for the end of this rounds that's going on?
We only got one playoff game this weekend, unless you count Monday. But
well, all together, Celtics in 7, Warriors in 7.
Go ahead and predict this. Go ahead and predict these games. Weekend. Go ahead.
I said it. Warriors in 7, Celtics in 7.
All right, Dre, you there? I don't know what happened though.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, well, go ahead and make your predictions.
We all know his predictions.
Yeah, the Cavs gonna win. I'm the Cavs. The Cavs gonna win the championship. They're gonna beat Boston game 7. Houston gonna beat the Rockets game 6. It's gonna be a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Once you be my Nick.
Tuesday finna be an ugly day for LeBron James. It's gonna be an ugly, dark, gloomy, dark day. It's gonna be a day that he's gonna regret for the rest of his life. It's gonna be a day that he wish he had never let Kyrie Irving go. It's gonna be a day of funerals in Cleveland. All aboard, choo choo.
The king is speaking. Watch the press conference. The king is
speaking. I feel like I did 8 years ago when he left the team the first time.
All right. I'm going Warriors tomorrow. We'll see about Monday. Warriors tomorrow. I'm going to go with the 10-0, 11-0, whatever it is. Celtics at home. Even over the greatness of LeBron James and the fact probably drop dang near 60 on Tuesday, but it's still going to lose to the fact that for whatever reason there's some magic in Boston where the Celtics never missed anything involved at the Garden. So Celtics Warriors. It's a toss up for me on Monday though, between them if it goes 7. Uh, hmm. And that all depends on if they have Chris Paul again on Monday. Because if they don't have Chris Paul on Monday, then they definitely not winning. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. You know what? Back up against the wall. Be the man. You gotta beat the man. And because I believe James Harden and Chris Paul will fold in the game 7 when it matters the most, when the pressure's on, I'm going Warriors on Monday.
I love you, brother.
I'm gonna go Warriors. I'm gonna go Warriors until Chris Paul and James Harden show me that in a game 7 when it matters the most, because it will be a game 7, because we know Chris Paul ain't playing tomorrow.
And another statement: the Boston Celtics, they haven't been to a finals since Kobe Bryant's last finals appearance, which he won in 2010. It was Celtics versus Lakers. They lost that. But they haven't won one since 2008 against the same team, the Los Angeles Lakers. So 8 years since they last been to a finals, but 10 years since they last won a finals.
So, well, either way, like I said, the Eastern Conference team is going to be dang near swept. So it really doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter who goes for the East because they're both going to get dang near swept. So, all right, so that's it for me. Now I'm going to let these two go in on the sports betting being legalized. So your reaction, guys, and then we'll get out of here and go to bed and enjoy the rest of our Saturday. Your reaction to sports betting becoming legal. Go ahead, Dre. Dre, you there? All right, go ahead, Amina. I don't know what's going on. I think Andre's having technical difficulties or something. Go ahead, Amina.
Sports betting. I'm not a gambler. I don't believe in it, but if I did, I'd be a very happy person right now. People are going to be able to do sports betting, from what I understand, at casinos and online games, and as well through their mobile devices, which are their smartphones and tablets. It's an interesting thing that's coming down, and I hope it doesn't turn ugly or violent, and people actually chill and be respectful with it. But it'll be interesting to see professional situations where games like in NBA are being bet on and whatnot. It'll be interesting come February for the Super Bowl as well, even though I won't be watching it because of this mess that came down this past week. But it'll be interesting to see how that works out with the legalization of sports betting. But it is what it is.
Close out the show. Go ahead, Mr. Terry. Dre, you awake? You there?
That's what happens to a bronsexual. They get blasted on podcasts and social media, and then they run for cover just like their man, LeBron James. He runs off just like his man. Can't be a big man. All right, Kylan, let's get out of here.
All right. I don't know what happened to Andre, but I'm sure, he'll give y'all his take on sports betting becoming legal maybe next week. But like I say, you heard it here first. We got this little friendly wager going on. Whichever team doesn't do what it's supposed to do within these next 3 days, next podcast, we'll all apologize and bow down and say this person is the greatest sports mind until the next play, until the finals or whatever. So that's a little friendly wager we got between Andre, myself, and Amina. We'll see how it goes this next couple of days. But we want to thank you all for coming through. I want to thank Andre. I want to thank Amina. It's always fun with the arguments, with the discussions, and whatever. It's all in good fun. Nobody's being double teamed. Nobody's doing anything. All just good fun. So, like I said, I want to thank Andre. I want to thank Amina. The schedule changes a little bit. We should have, once we figure out the logistics, a big announcement come next week for y'all about podcasts in June. Even though technically, when we run our next podcast, it will be June. It'll be June 2nd. But for the rest of those podcasts in June, so definitely look forward to it. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. Enjoy them cookouts. Don't eat too much. Stay cool, especially on the East Coast because it's going to be a scorcher tomorrow at 90 degrees. Always, thank you all for listening. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think. At Colin W. Watson. At Andre_Terry. At the crossover PO1 for the podcast Twitter. Just thanks for listening. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the encouragement. And we'll see y'all on the other side, Lord willing. So deuces and have a great holiday.